what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it. Let's take a little statistical scouting report on UCLA. It's a bit early in the season for this, and it gets a bit weird because, teams have played varied schedules, right? Like, you look at a lot of LSU SEC statistics, and you don't rank great. Some of it objectively, but some of it because you've played a much harder schedule than a lot of your peers have. So I think one thing you can do, while we will look at rankings, we'll look at the number itself. And we know from the past, okay, what's a good number to have in this category? Is that good or not? So, spoiler alert, UCLA is really bad. Really, really bad. And we'll get into it. So let's go ahead and get things started.
It's time to get to work, courtesy of Tiger Labor and Staffing, where they can help take care of screening, training, payroll, and more. Now, for starters.
Go to Tiger Labor and Staffing today. You need the right person for the job, or if you're looking for a job, it can be same day. And maybe it's a small project, bigger project, longer, maybe forever, right? Tiger Labor and Staffing is a turnkey service. They take care of everything. You just find the right employees. So whether you're looking for employees or employment, you want Tiger Labor and Staffing. All right, so UCLA. There's a reason why LSU is 20-something point favorites here. It is a bit of a disaster here in year one for Deshaun Foster. And it's not that hard to understand outside looking in. Like, I know we'll point to the Foster press conference and be like, oh, clearly he was in over his head and everything else. And I'm not saying that there's no, I understand drawing that line, right? I understand drawing that conclusion. But, just think about what happened to UCLA this offseason. Losing Chip Kelly out of nowhere to be another team's offensive coordinator. So you go from one of the premier college head football coaches of our time, not an exaggeration, and he leaves you to go be an OC. You have D'Anton Lynn, your superstar D coordinator that completely changed your defense, made them a great group top to bottom. He leaves and goes to the other Los Angeles school. He probably didn't even move. He left you and probably didn't even move. You have Dante Moore, your 5-star quarterback that admittedly was raw last year, leave to go be a backup at Oregon. Mature decision by Moore for sure. But again, one guy leaves to take a demotion. One guy leaves and just goes across town. And one guy, and then your best player leaves to, again, be a backup instead of playing. Disastrous. And then, so you're feeling very insecure. It's an awful time to have to hire somebody when Chip Kelly left. You say, hey, what do we do? And you go with the UCLA guy. You go with Deshaun Foster, great NFL player. Can he recruit as a passer for the school? All these sorts of things. The problem is everything. Nothing has worked out. Recruiting's nothing to write home about. It's not like he was like like a Coach Joe was a head coach, the CEO model, right? You could say recruiting was his strongest suit. However, Coach Joe's been coaching football by the time he's got these head jobs forever. He knew the game inside out. He knew how it worked. He had already failed as a head coach. He got another chance. He knew how to hire well, how to delegate. Deshaun Foster's really raw to all of this stuff. And so in the end, you have just an impossible mixture of adversity to overcome, and it's showing on the field. Right now, UCLA's offense, let's just look at the run game, Jake. They only run it 23 times a game, partially a function of being behind as much as they were against Indiana, but that is by far the least in the conference. They only run it for 83 yards a game, which is least in the conference by a full 50 yards. They only average 3.6 yards per carry, which is also dead last in the Big Ten.
Their starting running back is 2.7 yards per carry.
They have one touchdown, which is dead last. Again, and remember, the Big Ten is 18 teams now. They're 18th in all of these categories. They're dead last in scoring offense. They've only scored 14.5 points a game. The only team that is under 20. Okay, but they can't run the ball. Maybe they throw it well, right? Ethan Garber's their starting quarterback, completing 54% of his passes, a little over 200 yards a game, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. They average 6.7 yards per attempt, second to last in the Big Ten. This is an offense that is broken and flawed and good at nothing. And it is the exact confidence builder and get right game for this LSU defense, which also statistically doesn't look great on paper. For what it's worth, LSU third to last in rush defense in the SC, fourth to last pass, third to last total, dead last in yards per play. Now, again, granted, I think they've played a harder schedule than most have, but Jake, I feel that for this young D-line, for a secondary that's kind of trying to find themselves, and for a group that I maintain is better coached, they're on the right path. This game represents a chance to have a solid statistical day and go out there and feel good about yourself.
When you look at what they don't do well and, what you've kind of struggled with, yeah, I agree with you. You've given up explosive plays in the run game. It hasn't really been through the air, right? I mean, think about all the things that we talked about in the preseason leading into it, because last year it was bombs over Baghdad. It's like you had so many MAs in coverage.
Yeah, has there been a big busted coverage? I mean, guys have beat you one-on-one, making great plays, but I'm trying to think. I don't know that.
I mean, not for a heavy hitter. There's been a coverage where the safety goes too far into the flat when he's got the middle third and you've given up a 15 to 18-yard hit. There's been that, but there hasn't been a play where nobody's on the screen but the opposing team as they go into the end zone like we saw so many times last year. It's been in the run game, but this is a great opportunity. TJ Harden, who last year ran for over 800 yards at UCLA. Well, this year, 21 carries, 57 yards, 2.7 yards per carry, and only 1 single touchdown. That's their 1 rushing touchdown. They lost so much when they lost Chip Kelly, obviously. The play design, some of their offensive linemen, the tight ends that they're used to having here that you have to have if you want to run this type of offense, they don't have that. So this is a great opportunity for you to get right in the run game. And if you don't, that's even more troublesome and worrisome if you can't get right against a team right now that as a team has 167 yards through 2 games.
Yeah, again, I have a lot of faith in the edges, and I think that's a group for LSU that's only going to continue to gain in confidence. I want to see the interior flash some here. I want to see them have some success. I want to see the linebackers play downhill. Of course, like Jake's saying, we want to see the run fits be better from the safeties and the linebackers, because while there haven't been the passing busted coverages, obviously there have been basically the run busted coverages, the run busts that have led to the big plays. But yeah, I mean, again, like I said from day one, guys, must smash this weekend. And the more you look at the game, the more you look at the statistics, LSU should run away with this, especially being in Death Valley there. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.